Welcome back, fans and friends. For this upcoming video, I have a return to the first video I ever did. This car here, which is the Nissan Skyline 2000 GTR KPGC10. So this is the high-performance version, two-door coupe of the regular Nissan Skyline, which would just be the PCG10, featuring the inline-six engine. And you can just see there, we have the GTR right on the front. We have Fast and Furious. This is from the fifth movie. Because the actor, that's Dominic Toretto, played by Vin Diesel. But it's actually supposed to be here, Brian. It's the one they used to go to Rio de Janeiro briefly. And then we don't see it ever again, which is a shame. And so this is by Jada Toys. And I'm going to go over some of the other cars that they have. Hopefully this one's really good. If I do see it, I will probably pick up that there. If ever it shows up. Grand National, I would actually like a good version of it. I've done quite a few from Maisto. Perhaps these guys will do it much better. I do want a Dodge Charger. I just don't want either of these two ones. And I don't want this one because of the aftermarket modding. So perhaps if I see that one, I'll get it. If I see that one, I'll get it. Maybe. People happy with Toyota Supras and RX-7s? I have no idea. And then a Porsche, I have no idea. Well, we'll just see how this one goes. Hopefully it's made very well. And then here we have, depending on how you define improve or amend, that's probably more accurate, and colors may vary. And important information, obviously the package. Thankfully, this one allows us to put it right back, so that's good. And other than that, we can probably go ahead and decide that it's very presentable. This is clearly a case of Maisto. So here we have 8 plus, a bunch of other things that we're going to look for. Remove all screws from each mount. Obviously, I have 2 screwdrivers here, so I have both of them are Kleins. The regular Phillips number 2 and a mini one, which I usually use for computer stuff, but in this case, it will be used for this. So here we have Chrysler, Mitsubishi. I didn't see Mitsubishi, actually. The Eclipse. Oh, why couldn't it be an Evo? I don't remember an Evo being in any of the movies. There's Lamborghini. W Motors. They make the Lycan Hypersport, so I don't understand why this series here, perhaps a later series. Anyway, Toyota Tires, McLaren, Jeep, Porsche, Nissan, Toyota, Volkswagen, Ford, GM. And they do this weird thing where they separate. It looks like it's 2 separate products, but it's not. Honda and Acura, obviously the same company. Dodge is Chrysler. And Peterbilt, unusually for a trucking company. So what I'm looking for here is that I remember a while ago, UK and AMCG. I see here, I didn't see Mercedes down there. I still don't see it. So that's like kind of weird that they would go about. AMG, don't get me wrong. Problem is Maisto Special Edition. I did the review for that one. That one is not a Fast and Furious car, but they did it really well. So if Jada does it better, I might look into getting more of their stuff. Obviously, get it for sale when you can get it. If not, what I'm looking for actually is the scaling. So this looks much larger than a 124. Perhaps it's a 120 or a 118. But anyway, what you're here for is for me to get it out of the box and take a look at it. I am hoping that the engine, which is the most fun part to look at, is done super well, and we're just going to be so satisfied with this $20 product that we won't have to buy the $100 product. Hopefully people are just as fantastic, not fanatically, but fantastically. And so one of the issues is they've taped it on both sides, so it is actually extremely rather difficult to get it out. You have to sort of open it on both ends. There's a tab on the left side you have to get out, and that sucks because it's taped. And I have completely, unfortunately, demolished. This is the first one I've ever opened, so not their medium-sized one. So basically, there's a tab here On that side there, you can see right here, I have completely destroyed the plate for it. Is here, this tab. And this tab goes in there, and so you'd have to therefore open it from this side, but then they've also taped on this side. You can just see there at the top, and it prevents, so you basically have to open both ends to get it out. But once it is out, and you can just see there a little bit of a plastic insert taped. The hood is taped shut, the doors are held tape. We've seen that before from Mazdo. And we're going to see if the trunk, you can clearly see that it looks great. Let's get that right out of the door, because it is relatively a large vehicle. So unfortunately, you can see here, micro screwdriver. You will not be getting this out with a regular sized one. They kind of look like laptop screws, but they are not. They are the stupid screws that are and so I have finally managed to get it out. So I will hold it upside down because a lot of things want to fall out. So here's the car itself, nice and shiny, now with my fingerprints all over everything. That was the second screw. So if you're going to put it back in, it might be key to hold on to them. They are, I'll show them in a second. So there's the back, that's the bottom plate. Obviously it's done because there must be other sets that have it in the cross shape. Those are the two main ones that come out. They're very long screws. And so this, which is the back plate that comes off the vehicle, actually is not secured to anything. You can see there, it's not even taped. So if you don't want to lose it, just keep your hand on it. Obviously you're going to drop it on the floor. So here are the two screws that hold it into the bottom, and you can see they are compatible with both Phillips and slots. I ended up, luckily I chose this as the screwdriver, and I had this original in there and I didn't want to strip it, so I switched it just to the slot side on that. I do have an Amazon screw extractor set, but I didn't want to waste 1 hour trying to just take this thing apart just to remove two screws. Not going to square, relax. So the key thing about this GTR here is you can see where the driver is, the right side. We get a nice rear view mirror, silver painted in the middle. Defroster, the wipers are not painted. That's not a huge deal breaker. There's no rear view mirrors. Oh, I apologize, I forgot. The rear view mirrors on these cars are on the front there, like certain Italian cars, which is excellent. I do like it a lot. And onto the front, we see there, just on the left side of the car, the grille, the GTR, the N for Nissan, I believe is what that is in the middle. Yeah, the red is Nissan and the little touch-ups are something else. Anyway, Jada Toys Fast and Furious on the license plate. I'd rather have that than nothing. Front sputter. And you can just see me in how reflective the chrome-ish paint on the bumper is. You have a little bit of an issue on the silver painting there for the right lights. Inserts for both sides of the lights, which is great. You can just see a little bit of silver splotching underneath. Not a deal breaker. The rest of the car the front of the car looks great. On to the left side, you have Skyline and GT, and then I don't see the R, which should follow. Wheels, I believe, I don't know if these are the standard wheels. These look like thin wall racing type tires. You have bolted wheel wells on, extenders. Other than the chrome and Skyline, you have there the door handle, no key. And there actually is a nice touch is the locks, manual locks. For people who don't grow up in an era without automatic, you can see the reflective surface of the center of the rear mirror there. Dials and gauges, we'll get a better look at that once I open the doors. That, I believe, is the, what's not the gas cap? It is just a insignia for S for Skyline. I do believe the first ones might have been Prince Motors, but I might be lying. A GTR is obviously a very Nissan product. I don't know if it's been Nissan the whole time, though. Like I said, Prince Motors was the expensive, Acura-ish Lexus version for Nissan. So there we have GTR just to the right of the license plate. Once again, Jada Fast and Furious, Skyline above it. I do like that. So the bad news is you cannot display all this cool stuff because the back of the case is this. And the front of it is exciting, but with the hood closed, it's very boring. We can see there the dual exhaust. Lights, I believe they look like inserts with chrome inserts as well, and stamped onto the body of the car. Bumper, you can just see it is a nice and very chromish finish. You can just see me leaving my fingerprints there. Looks really nice. Bumper standoffs molded into the regular bumper, makes it hard to see, but it's there. And just for 2 seconds, I'm going to see if the trunk pops open. And there you have it. And you know what? It's weird because you can actually probably put stuff in there. So this is actually, I think, the first vehicle I've ever had on this channel. I thought the Dodge Challenger from Mazda would do it, but it did not. This is in fact the first vehicle I have on this channel. You can just see my dirty fingerprints on the roof there, with an opening / functioning trunk. You can just see there, everything is painted as it is to make it look really nice. So honestly, Jada has not done, I want to say oh, I found the gas cap, by the way, right there. And so I cannot recommend, if you see this, like this early version of the Nissan Skyline, it is nice and simple, which I also like. The plain version of the car, I don't need anything fancy. I don't need like I said about the Dodge Charger, you don't need that huge supercharger apparatus on the vehicle. This one is reasonably very well done and very well priced. Onto the underside, I believe that's what the spare tire is. The gas tank is a little bit different. You get some elements of the suspension. This is a rear-wheel drive car, so transfer case, differential, also evident there. There's the 2 holes for the screws. There's 2 more screws, I guess, if you want to take it apart to paint it and or repair it. Suspension, engine well, everything appears to be done very well. And you have here a number, so 99686. And we have, that's what I was talking about, the scale, 124. It does look kind of large. In fact, this Skyline, I'm not sure, but it does look kind of bigger than the Mazda Dodge Challenger I have here right beside me. Way bigger than the AMG GT, and 1.5 times larger than the 1970 Corvette. So 124, I want to say 124-ish. It's still great though, don't get me wrong. This is definitely going on the shelf. So you have Jada Toys, City of Industry, California, Nissan Skyline. It's made in China. You have there JadaToys.com, everything else. And so first thing I'm going to do as the warm up is I'm going to pop open the 2 doors. And to do this, you need to just not be me and pop open this little, well, you don't have to pop open. You have to tear off this little plastic thing, the thing that I showed earlier. Keeps the door shut. Why does it do that? Because that's its job. So, unlike actually I'm seeing now the Mazda, they don't actually let you see the rest of the front or the back of the car. So this Jada, in terms of that, is actually doing a worse job. So, opening the door. Just see if I can get the light. You have there the bucket seats, console. The mirror actually is the only thing that really stands out. I don't see anything else. Any other, like you can get a lot of detail just from the inside of the door. The silver accents actually make the car look really good. So I'm just going to give it that. It is definitely well worth the money. Only cost me $20 and I live in Canada. There you see the dials. You can sort of make out the little RPM meters, the speedometer and all that stuff. Center console, gear shift, all that stuff is nice. So the gear shift actually has a silver top. So it is the other thing. You can just see that the handbrake just to the left of the right side driver's seat. Obviously, it's Japanese. All the GTRs are, I've said this before, and anybody who's a fan of the car will know they're only right-hand drive. The regular now, the R35 version of the GTR, I don't know if there's left-hand drive. There probably is. But the R34 and previous, so including this one here, would all be right-hand drive. And there you see the back seats. So this car, I would put it in the same category as those Mustangs of a generation earlier, 65 to 7, and Camaro and all that other stuff. Two-door sports car, high power, small size, and 2 bucket seats plus the minimalist rear seats there. And so I am honestly taking a look at this one. For the price, you do get, like I said, the first time on the channel I've ever had an opening trunk, which depends on, like I said, there's been a lot of Maestos special edition, which are also 124. And this does represent a less than 40% cost of an M2. So the M2 124 scales are about $40 with taxes here. They come out to like $44, $44.50 or something like that. You could buy 2 of these for that. Not 2 of these Skylines, but if you have a similar car, I did consider buying. They had a 302 Boss Mustang and Camaro. Honestly, it would cost about $90. I'd rather buy a bunch of other things than have the M2. So if they ever come on the channel, it's because somebody gave it to me, or I happened to be 50% off, or I found it on Kijiji or somewhere else. Dirt cheap, because honestly, you can see right there how shiny it is with my dirty fingerprints all over. I will wipe that off before I put it back in the package. The one thing I do see though, and you can see there, the cloudiness of the rear windscreen is offset by how clear it is, but then you see here it's a little bit fuzzier, which is, you can just see there, it's just the plastic they use. I didn't see that on the Maesto, but here we are. Anyway, we're gonna get a look at that inline 6. So the inline 6 was for the GTR, but the regular one, so the PGC10 had a straight 6 and produced a little bit less horsepower. And the reason for that is their own. I am not gonna tell them what to do. So, and I forgot also as well, the hood opens from the front, not the back. So in reverse to what everybody else here knows. I did not break it though, and you can just see there, this is really disappointing, but this is all the hood opens. And as you can see there, it's a joint like that. I want to call it an L joint or a T joint, and you can just see there, this is the opposite of that. It has the internal nearly on the end, allows it to A, open up wider, and B, it is obviously a little bit simpler in design. And I just noticed the screws holding in the spoiler. They can come out. I didn't see that before. So in case you're wondering, you can make this car spoilerless. Yes, you can. But the important thing here is there's the engine. It looks really nice. I'd say that's on par with the Corvette's engine, the 1971 I did, the AMGs and the Dodge Challengers. So it is great. It is probably almost as good as the Viper's engine, but the Viper has an edge. It's a much larger scale. So fans and friends, honestly, if you are a fan of this, the 1971 version of the Nissan Skyline GTR, I believe this is the 1971. There's no exact year for it, but that's the years it was made. Oh, I apologize right there. I was correct, 1971. That's where I read it. It doesn't say it on the box, so you have to literally open it up, take a look underneath, but I've done that for you. It just says there, you have Brian Skyline 2000 GTR. And you have here, it doesn't, I believe, it just says Skyline, nothing about Brian. So, and it just says C10 there. It doesn't say the KPGC10, all the extra stuff. So, the only thing I don't like about the car, really nitpicking, is the hood only opens that much. So it makes it kind of, I don't want to break it, but you can just see there. It opens up reasonably enough. Like I said, where I've angled it, you can clearly see it. But unfortunately, that's all you get. And the windows have a weird translucent tint to them for whatever reason. Anyway, hopefully I'm done. Hopefully you like this review. Comment. I'd love to hear about other people's experiences with Jada. Like I said, I haven't done too many of them. Their 164 scale is often, I want to say B plus at best. It's easier to find things that other manufacturers don't make, which is great. But honestly, I think they did an outstanding version of this car. It's really great. Like I said, I prefer the plain type cars toward the fanciful, painted, and all that other stuff. This one, of course, he did buy it to drive across country, across southern US, Central America, and then into Brazil. I don't know if I would do it in this car. I can only imagine how hard it would be to fix. especially with an enclosed and a unique engine like this. There were about 1900 of these things built, so they're not super rare, but also they're kind of not very common. Like I said, the regular car, experts will say this better than I will, but the regular car was a straight six. This one is a V. So honestly, I love the car, so he obviously made the right choice. Unfortunately, it doesn't star very much after that in the movie, so you get just what I would say a brief glimpse of it. I apologize for rambling on, but like I said, a dirt cheap model, not dirt cheap, but a rather cheap model version of the car. Not too much more expensive than the Maisto. I thought they did a really good job. So like I said, if I see the other Skylines, the R35, if I ever see the R34 version of this car, I will get it for sure, because they did such a good job with this one. It makes me want to buy the other ones. Anyway, fans and friends, this is Thomas from Toronto. Thanks for watching, and to the next one.